$2 SCX24 tires straight off of Aliexpress. Let's see how they compare to Little Guy Racing Parts Swamp Kings and if these things are a bargain buy for $2. My initial impression on these things is that they look really, really nice. They have a really nice tread pattern and they're about the same size as the Swamp Kings themselves. However, they're much stiffer. Pretty hard to tell across the video, but take my word for it, they're a little bit stiffer. I might take the foams out of these things when we put them on the wheels. We do have some heavy brass Enduro wheels that we'll be putting on this. I think the extra weight will help a lot. But let's go ahead and get these wheels taken off these tires and we'll put them on these. Before we get any further in today's video, I did want to remind you guys we are still giving away an SCX24 at 10,000 subscribers. All you have to do to enter is follow these 3 steps right here. So 1, subscribe to the channel, 2, like this video, and 3, comment done down below in the comments. Once all 3 things are done, you'll be entered to win, and we'll announce the winner in a video at 10,000 subscribers. We will check that you've completed all 3 steps, so make sure you guys do those. With all that being said, let's get into today's video. So before we go ahead and mount these, I think I am going to go ahead and switch the foam inserts. So the foam inserts that I have in these Little Guy Racing Parts Swamp Kings are super, super soft. I forget exactly what brand, but they're these white ones. Very soft, and they definitely make it perform a lot better. The ones that came in these tires are pretty much junk. If you do pick up these tires, I'd recommend getting some different inserts. And I'm going to go ahead and swap mine over before I install the wheels. And with the wheels installed, I actually really like the look, and these things feel much better with that softer foam installed. I think these things will perform pretty well. The heavier wheel, I think, will also help a lot. With that being said, though, there's only one way to really test these things out. I'm going to go ahead and install the other 3 wheels on the other 3 tires. We'll get the foams all swapped over, and we should be pretty much good to go. Also, I haven't done a video on this because I just picked it up, but I've been using this Enduro electric driver thing. This makes life so much easier with these little screws on these wheels. Now, if you had the beadlocks that had all the screws around the outside, this thing would be a lifesaver. It cuts down the time of working on these things so much. All right, so I got all of the tires installed on the wheels. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this is these are directional, so you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you mount the wheels the correct direction on these tires. That way you can put them on the rig properly. But we got these all done, so let's go ahead and toss them onto the SCX24. This is the one I'll be using. It's got the isokinetic axles, low center of gravity chassis. We've got a brushless motor, Reefs 99 micro servo, and pretty much just that. So we're gonna go ahead and toss these on and we'll see how they perform. And just like that, they're on the rig. And I will say, I do like the look of these a lot. And I think I'm gonna probably pick up another set for a different build that I have in mind. I will also add that if you're going to do this, I 100% recommend getting rid of the foams that come in this. They're way too dense and stiff, so you're not gonna get any flex in the tire there. And it's going to be less capable for that reason. It'll also help if you have a little bit heavier rig with some metal axles, some brass wheels, and things like that. But if you ditch these foams, you should be pretty much good to go no matter what your setup is. You can obviously either get some softer foams or these inserts. I'll be using foams because that's what most people seem to have, and I want to give these things a pretty accurate test in case you guys do pick up a set for yourself. But we've got the crawler down on the indoor course. I did have to go ahead and swap the motor out. I was having some issues with the other one. Just some tuning issues on it. So we went ahead and swapped it out the setup. I know that works. I don't want that to be any factor in testing this. And before we tear the course down, we're going to test it on the hill. This might be one of the last tests you guys see on this indoor course before we rebuild it. I'd like to incorporate some real rocks in the new one so it's a lot more realistic. But let's go ahead and get this tested. So for starters, we're going to try this line here. Now, most of the built rigs can do this. It is a little bit slick. This isn't any texture added to this. It's just plaster Paris over some foam. But we'll see how these tires do on here. I do expect it to slip a little bit because every rig I've taken off this has slipped some. But I'm interested to see if it can get enough traction to get over this spot right here. And it did. I'm a little surprised, but not really, because these tires do feel very similar to other tires that I've ran on rigs. Now this side here is just a little bit steeper at the top, so we'll see how it does here. This one, I'd say like 50 to 60% of the builds I've done have been able to do. But it kind of comes down to if the tires are getting gripped up top there. It's real slick. Oh, climbed up that as well. So I'm actually pretty impressed with these tires. I do want to get it out on the real rocks, which I will update you guys on. But this is a pretty good test because the stuff is not very grippy. It's pretty tough to get traction on this thing. Part of the reason we're going to be rebuilding it, but I'm pretty happy with these tires, and for $2, these are a killer deal. I will go ahead and link the listing down below in the description if you guys wanted to pick a setup for yourself. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.